Hey guys, welcome back. Coach Sandra here with another amazing Herbalife recipe. And this one I straight copied from a fellow Herbalifer a little while back. And these are absolutely incredible. Today we're gonna make chocolate caramel protein bites. And these are so good. Okay, but before I even get started, I wanna let you know that this is nothing but a dessert. It is a treat. It's not necessarily part of your weight loss plan. Certainly not on any kind of a regular basis. But with that being said, one of the other things that is really important to know is, I say to my clients all the time, this is herbal life, not herbal deprivation. So just because you're in the aggressive part of your weight loss journey doesn't mean that you can't do any of the things that you love doing. It just means that they need to be planned and they need to be done in a way that's not going to just wreck your progress. And for example, if you're going to have a dessert, the time to have a dessert during the active part of your weight loss journey is immediately after a protein containing meal. And there's a reason for that, because the problem doesn't come from the calories in the dessert. The problem comes from the sugars in the dessert and what that does to your chemistry, meaning it causes this chain reaction of hormonal responses, because when the sugar goes in, it increases your blood sugar and then starts the challenge. So if you have something sweet immediately after a protein rich, not just a meal with protein, but a protein rich meal, it's going to slow down the increase in your blood sugar levels, which is going to minimize the rest of the result of that chain of events. So if you're going to have a dessert, the time to do it is after a protein rich meal. And I don't mean an hour after, I mean right after, because those proteins are going to help slow down that sugar uptake. Also, before we get started, again, I want to thank you for your contribution to this channel. Without you guys, this channel would be kind of no fun to be here. and you guys make it a lot of fun. So thank you again for all of the likes and the comments and the shares and the suggestions, and responding to our emails and letting us know what questions you have, so we know what kinds of materials to put in here to help you the most, because ultimately that's what we're here for. We're here to help and support you. So today what we're going to use is we're going to, and I want to talk about this a little bit, we're going to use some dates. Now, this is, these were sold as dry dates in the bulk bin. I've made this recipe once before and I used fresh whole dates, and that works really beautifully as well. But price-wise, it's much more economical to buy the dates this way. And I've experimented a little bit. So I just took a glass jar. You can take any kind of sealable container, and I filled it to 1 cup with the dried dates, and then I filled water around the dates to also the 1 cup level. And because when you buy them this way, they're coated with something to keep them from sticking together, and they're dried a little bit, so they're just not going to mix in as well as we'd like them to for what we're doing today. So I've attempted to reconstitute them, and it looks like it's working beautifully. I just let these sit overnight, covered up like that, and they did great. They sucked all of the water up, and they're nice and moist and pliable now. So I have 1 cup of chopped dates. If you're buying whole dates, you can get them in the carton, and it's one of the cartons that's about yay tall. And when we bought them before, we also bought them in the bulk section. So this recipe would take about 9 whole dates if you're getting them from the bulk section. Okay, so we're using real fresh dates. We're using natural peanut butter. It's very important, natural peanut butter. So there should be only 1 or possibly 2 ingredients in your peanut butter, and that should be peanuts and maybe salt, nothing else. We don't need hydrogenated anything in your peanut butter. Okay, so a natural peanut butter, we're going to use a couple teaspoons of that, and our French vanilla Formula 1. Now I'm going to try later to make these with the vanilla protein drink mix to increase the protein just a little bit, but I know that the vanilla Formula 1 is absolutely delicious. And if you're like me and you've tried a lot of sweet things made with dates, they always have that particular date taste. But somehow this French vanilla Formula 1 cancels out the date taste. It doesn't have a date taste at all. So French vanilla Formula 1, and we're gonna mix it all up in a little mini food processor. And this is very much a mini food processor. And when I put the whole dates in the last time I made this little processor didn't handle that very well. So if I had whole dates again, I would definitely be chopping them up before I put them in here, just as a note for whatever you're working with. And then the final thing that we're gonna use is just some dark chocolate, again, from the bulk section, but you totally could use like an 85% dark chocolate bar instead of chocolate from the bulk section. Okay, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna put everything except for the chocolate into the food processor and get that ready. And now I'm just gonna mix this up until it's completely mixed, and you might have to work back and forth just a little bit, work in your food processor to get it all mixed up. It's a little bit dry, but you want it to be a little dry. If it's too dry and your food processor won't handle it, certainly add a drip or two of water, but not much, because you want this to be firm enough when it's all mixed up that you can roll it into balls. So here we go. So that was just a little too wet to ball up. So I've added just a little bit more of the Formula 1 in here to thicken it up a bit. And now we're gonna try to roll them into balls and roll them up. Okay, now I'm going to just kind of try to tidy these up so they're a little closer to a ball shape and pop them in the freezer for about 30 minutes. While those are in the freezer, shortly before they come out, I'm gonna break this up and melt it in the microwave. You could certainly melt it in a double boiler if you're bougie like that. Just gonna microwave mine today, and could be different tomorrow, we never know. And then we'll dip them and we'll be back. Okay, we're back. Now I've left these in there for almost an hour because when I checked them at 30 minutes, they just still were too soft and I didn't think that they would roll very well. The first time that I made these, I didn't let them freeze long enough and they were really difficult to work with. So I left them in there a little longer. Like I said, it's almost been an hour, and I've melted the chocolate. And it's very hot. And so now what we're gonna do is we're just going to attempt to dip each one of these little balls into the chocolate and back onto the paper. So let's see how we do. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna dip the bottom, put it back on the paper. I'm gonna do this with all of them, and then I'm just gonna spoon the chocolate over the top. That seemed to work a little better for me last time. Let's see how it goes this time. Fun. I'm not very good at dipping things into chocolate. I'll figure out how to get better. If you know how to get better at dipping something in chocolate and having it stick and look nice and not be destroyed, drop it in the comments and let your friend here know. But yeah, I'm gonna put these back in the fridge, let that harden up, and then transfer them to a plate and watch them disappear.